Volume 3, Tape Number 1, Side A, Lesson 1. George Carter meets Carolyn Tanabe.
George Carter and Carolyn Tanabe are new English teachers at a language school in Oakland, California. It is now 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning. George and Carolyn meet for the first time in the teacher's room during a break between classes.
Hello, are you new here?
Yes, I started teaching on Monday, the day before yesterday.
Same here. We haven't met before, have we? My name's George Carter.
I'm Carolyn Tanabe.
Are you Japanese?
No, I'm American. I was born in Japan, but my parents came to America when I was a baby.
I've got a lot of Japanese students in my classes. I suppose you have too.
Yes, almost half of them are Japanese. The others are mainly South Americans, and a few Europeans and Africans. It's an interesting place, isn't it?
Yes, I think I'm going to enjoy teaching here. It's a good school, and the students are very eager to learn.
That's because they all want to study at American universities. They have to know English very well before they start.
I hope I'll be able to help them. I haven't got much teaching experience. I'm just out of college.
Same here. Where did you study?
UCLA. I majored in linguistics.
I'm a linguistics major, too. I've just graduated from Stanford.
So you're a Stanford graduate. How about that? Well, I have another class now. Would you like to have lunch later?
Yes, that would be nice.
Good. Let's meet here at 12:30.
Okay, have a good class.
Thanks, Carolyn. See you at 12:30 then.
Now, answer these questions. Who are the new English teachers?
They are George Carter and Carolyn Tanabe.
When did Carolyn start teaching?
She started the day before yesterday.
What about George?
He started the day before yesterday, too.
Is Carolyn Japanese or American?
She's American.
Was she born in America?
No, she wasn't.
Where was she born?
She was born in Japan.
When did her parents come to America?
They came to America when she was a baby.
Has George got much teaching experience?
No, he hasn't.
Why not?
Because he's just out of college.
What about Carolyn?
She hasn't got much experience either.
What did George and Carolyn major in?
They majored in linguistics.
Did George go to UCLA?
Yes, he did.
What does UCLA mean?
It means the University of California in Los Angeles.
Where did Carolyn study?
She studied at Stanford University.
What does George have to do now?
He has to teach a class.
What are George and Carolyn going to do later?
They're going to have lunch together.
What time are they going to meet?
They're going to meet at 12:30.
Now, imagine you are George and ask Carolyn these questions. Ask her if she teaches any Japanese students.
Do you teach any Japanese students?
Ask her why the students are eager to learn.
Why are the students eager to learn?
Ask her what she majored in.
What did you major in?
Ask her if she's a Stanford graduate.
Are you a Stanford graduate?
Ask her if she'd like to have lunch with you.
Would you like to have lunch with me?
End of Lesson 1. Lesson 2. George and Carolyn during lunch.
George Carter and Carolyn Tanabe are new teachers at a language school in Oakland, California. They met for the first time in the teacher's room this morning. Now they are having lunch together in the school cafeteria. Listen to their conversation.
How did your class go this morning?
I think it went okay. I read the students a little story and then I asked them questions about it.
How many times did you read the story to them?
Just once. A few students had trouble answering the questions, but I think they understood the meaning.
You're lucky. I had a beginner's class this morning, and they didn't understand anything.
Do you dislike teaching the beginners?
Oh, no, I don't mind teaching them, but I prefer the higher levels. I've got an intermediate class this afternoon.
Well, let's stop talking about teaching. Tell me something about yourself. Is your home in Oakland?
No, I come from Sacramento. What about you, George? Where do you come from?
I'm from Los Angeles.
Tell me, how did you get this job?
One of my professors found it for me. He's a friend of the director. What about you?
I saw an ad about the school in the newspaper. I came to Oakland and had an interview with the director. He wrote to me a week later and offered me the job. Oh, look at the time. It's getting late. I'd better go now. I haven't prepared my class yet.
I'll go with you. I was just thinking. I've got 2 tickets for a concert in San Francisco on Saturday. Would you like to come? Maybe we could have dinner afterwards.
I'd like that very much, George.
Great. I'll see you after class and we can arrange the time.
Now, answer these questions. Where are George and Carolyn having lunch?
They are having lunch in the cafeteria.
How does George think his class went?
He thinks it went okay.
What did he read the students?
He read them a little story.
What did he do after that?
He asked them questions about it.
Did Carolyn have a beginner's or an intermediate class this morning?
She had a beginner's class.
Which levels does she prefer?
She prefers the higher levels.
What kind of class has she got this afternoon?
She's got an intermediate class.
Did George find this job himself, or did his professor find it for him?
His professor found it for him.
Who is the professor a friend of?
He's a friend of the school director.
What did Carolyn see in the paper?
She saw an ad about the school.
Who did she have an interview with?
She had an interview with the director.
Did the director offer the job to her immediately, or a week later?
He offered it to her a week later.
What has George got 2 tickets for?
He's got 2 tickets for a concert.
Where and when is the concert?
It's in San Francisco on Saturday.
Did he invite Carolyn?
Yes, he did.
Did Carolyn accept or refuse the invitation?
She accepted the invitation.
Now, imagine you are Carolyn and ask George these questions. Ask him if his class went okay this morning.
Did your class go okay this morning?
Ask him how many times he read the story to the students.
How many times did you read the story to the students?
Ask him if the director offered the job to him.
Did the director offer the job to you?
Ask him if he dislikes teaching the beginners.
Do you dislike teaching the beginners?
End of Lesson 2. Lesson 3. After the concert.
George and Carolyn are at a concert in San Francisco. The concert has just finished, and they are leaving the concert hall. Listen to their conversation.
That was fantastic, wasn't it, George? I've never heard it played so well.
Yes, I enjoyed it tremendously.
Well, what do we do now?
We'll have dinner, of course. Do you like seafood?
I love it.
Then let's go to Fisherman's Wharf. I'm afraid I don't know San Francisco very well, so we'd better ask somebody where it is.
Everybody has heard of Fisherman's Wharf. I once had dinner at a restaurant there.
With a boyfriend?
No, with my family when I was in junior high school. It's a long time ago, so I don't remember where it is either.
Well, anyway, we'd better get the car first. We parked on this street, didn't we?
Yes, I think so. Oh, there it is.
Oh, no.
What's wrong?
Look, I've got a parking ticket.
How much?
$15. The cops in this city are robbers.
But why? This is a parking area, isn't it?
I thought so, but look at that sign.
Parking on even days only. And today's the 11th, an odd day. Bad luck, George.
Ah, well, it can't be helped.
I know one thing, though. I'm going to pay for our dinner tonight.
Oh, no, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am. Listen, we both have the same job, and we both get the same salary, right? You bought me a ticket for the concert. Now you have to pay $15 to the cops? So why can't I buy dinner for you?
Okay, but next time I pay. There will be a next time, won't there?
I hope so, George.
Now, answer these questions. What did Carolyn say about the concert?
She said it was fantastic.
What are they going to do now?
They're going to have dinner.
Do they plan to go to Chinatown or to Fisherman's Wharf?
They plan to go to Fisherman's Wharf.
Is Fisherman's Wharf at the harbor or in the city center?
It's at the harbor.
How often has Carolyn been there?
She's been there once.
Did she go with a boyfriend or with her family?
She went with her family.
Did George park the car on the street or in a garage?
He parked it on the street.
Did he find an advertisement or a parking ticket on the car?
He found a parking ticket.
How much does he have to pay?
He has to pay $15.
What did he say about the cops in San Francisco?
He said they were robbers.
Did the sign say, parking on odd days only, or parking on even days only?
It said, parking on even days only.
What did Carolyn say she was going to pay for?
She said she was going to pay for the dinner.
Do George and Carolyn get different salaries or the same salary?
They get the same salary.
Did George agree to let Carolyn pay?
Yes, he did.
Who's going to pay next time?
George is.
There will be a next time, won't there?
Yes, there will.
Now, ask George or Carolyn these questions. Use their names. Ask George if he's ever been to Fisherman's Wharf.
Have you ever been to Fisherman's Wharf, George?
Ask George where he parked the car.
Where did you park the car, George?
Ask George if he thinks the cops in San Francisco are robbers.
Do you think the cops in San Francisco are robbers, George?
Ask Carolyn if the 11th is an odd day.
Is the 11th an odd day, Carolyn?
End of Lesson 3. Lesson 4. Their University Life.
George and Carolyn have just finished dinner at a restaurant on Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. They are still in the restaurant, and they are talking about their university life. Listen to their conversation.
Well, this is the first time I've been to Fisherman's Wharf, and I certainly enjoyed that dinner, especially the crab pilaf.
It was good, wasn't it?
It's also the first time a girl has paid for my dinner.
Don't worry about that, George. It was a pleasure. When I was at Stanford, I always used to pay my share.
Do you miss being a student, Carolyn?
Well, yes and no. I had a very good time at the university, but I also enjoy having a job for the first time.
I always used to work while I was studying at UCLA. Part-time, of course, not full-time. I needed the money to pay my fees.
What kind of work did you do?
I was a waiter in the university cafeteria, and during the vacations, I used to drive a truck.
And you used to play basketball, too, didn't you?
How did you know that?
I just guessed. You look like a basketball player. You're very tall.
Yes, I was on the university team. We always used to beat Stanford, I remember.
I'm not surprised. Stanford isn't a good university for sports, but academically, it's got a very good reputation.
I know. It's equal to Harvard, in my opinion. Did you belong to any clubs when you were at Stanford?
I was a member of the Dramatic Society. We used to put on a lot of plays. We had a very temperamental director, I remember. He always got very nervous before opening night. He used to say that he was doing all the work while everyone else was fooling around.
I'm sure that wasn't true.
Now, answer these questions. Are George and Carolyn talking in a restaurant or on the street?
They're talking in a restaurant.
Are they talking about their job or their university life?
They're talking about their university life.
What did Carolyn always used to pay when she was at Stanford?
She always used to pay her share.
Does she enjoy or dislike having a job?
She enjoys having a job.
What did George always used to do while he was studying at UCLA?
He always used to work.
Was he a waiter in a restaurant or in the university cafeteria?
He was a waiter in the university cafeteria.
What did he used to do during the vacations?
He used to drive a truck.
He used to play basketball too, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
What team was George on?
He was on the university team.
What university did UCLA always used to beat?
UCLA always used to beat Stanford.
Academically, what sort of reputation has Stanford got?
Academically, it's got a very good reputation.
What club did Carolyn used to belong to?
She used to belong to the Dramatic Society.
Did they used to put on many plays?
Yes, they did.
Was the director calm or temperamental?
He was temperamental.
What always happened before opening night?
The director always got very nervous.
Now, ask George and Carolyn these questions. Use their names. Ask Carolyn if she misses being a student.
Do you miss being a student, Carolyn?
Ask George what he used to do while he was studying at UCLA.
What did you used to do while you were studying at UCLA, George?
Ask Carolyn if Stanford has got a good reputation academically.
Has Stanford got a good reputation academically, Carolyn?
Ask George if he ever played basketball.
Did you ever play basketball, George?
End of Lesson 4. Lesson 5. George's letter to his parents.
George Carter is writing a letter to his parents in Los Angeles. This is the first time he has written to them since he arrived in Oakland. Here is the letter. Listen.
Dear Mom and Dad, I'm very sorry for not writing to you before, but better late than never. It's now 2 weeks since I came to Oakland, and as you can imagine, I've been very busy getting settled into my new job. The job is very interesting, and I enjoy teaching the students. There are a lot of Japanese and South Americans, and some students from Europe, Africa, and other countries in Asia. They are very eager to learn because they plan to study at universities here in the States. You'll be interested to know that I've met a very nice girl here. She's a Stanford graduate, and her name is Carolyn Tanabe. Last week I invited her to a concert, and after the concert we had dinner at a restaurant on Fisherman's Wharf. I parked the car in the wrong place before the concert, and I got a ticket for $15. So Carolyn said that she would pay for our dinner. I tried to refuse, but she insisted. Not many girls are like that. I was thinking that I'd like to invite Carolyn to stay with us for a few days during the Christmas vacation. Would that be all right? I don't know if she'll accept, but I'll ask her anyway. Well, that's all for now. Say hello to the kids for me. Much love from George.
Now, answer these questions. Who is George writing to?
He's writing to his parents.
Why is George sorry?
Because he didn't write before.
It's better to write late than never, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
How long has George been in Oakland?
He's been in Oakland for 2 weeks.
It's taken him 2 weeks to get settled into his new job, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
What did he say was interesting?
He said the new job was interesting.
What will his parents be interested to know?
They'll be interested to know that he's met a very nice girl.
What did George invite Carolyn to?
He invited her to a concert.
What did they do after the concert?
They had dinner on Fisherman's Wharf.
Why did George get a ticket?
Because he parked in the wrong place.
What did Carolyn say she would pay for?
She said she would pay for the dinner.
What did George try to do?
He tried to refuse.
Carolyn insisted, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
George doesn't think there are many girls like that, does he?
No, he doesn't.
When would George like to invite Carolyn to stay with his family?
He'd like to invite her during the Christmas vacation.
Does he know if she'll accept?
No, he doesn't.
But he'll ask her anyway, won't he?
Yes, he will.
Now, ask George these questions. Ask him if he's been very busy getting settled into his new job.
Have you been very busy getting settled into your new job?
Ask him if he thinks Carolyn is an attractive and sensible girl.
Do you think Carolyn is an attractive and sensible girl?
Ask him if he'd like to invite Carolyn to his home.
Would you like to invite Carolyn to your home?
Ask him if he thinks there are many girls like Carolyn.
Do you think there are many girls like Carolyn?
End of Lesson 5. End of Side A.